Hi, I'm Sha Hayes, and this is my kitchen. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I do in here. And particularly, I'm the leftover remix queen. I normally go out to dinner, and I'm one of the kind of people who are constantly on a diet. So what I typically do when I go to restaurants is I try to cut my meal in half so I don't eat all of it at the same time. So last night, I went out to dinner, had some steak, and so I brought my leftovers home in this nice little styrofoam container. So I said to myself, I don't just want to pop this in the microwave and just throw it in there and come out maybe not tasting the same way it did yesterday. So I decided, why not come home and try to remix it. So what I do is I take just a traditional steak dinner that I had, and all I had again was just some steak and some rice, and I try to remix it like I said. So I add my little homemade spin on it, and with that, I'm going to make my own homemade tortillas, and I also made myself some yummy chimichurri sauce. Now, people always say, chima what? But chimichurri, although the name sounds a little crazy, but the ingredients are so simple that a 2-year-old child can make it. It's just garlic and some parsley and some cilantro and some little bit of red wine vinegar, and just, the flavors melt together, makes any piece of beef or fish just delicious. So I made that a little bit earlier, and so what I'm going to do is I take my little tortillas that I made out of my corn flour here, and all I do is make them in these nice sized balls. And because I'm too cheap to buy a tortilla press, I do it my own little homemade way. And all you have to do is take a bottom of a round plate, because it's about the size of the tortilla that you want. Put your saran wrap at the bottom, your plastic wrap here, and put it at the bottom of the plate. And you take another piece of plastic wrap here and set it right there. Let's get my little styrofoam container. I will put it over here for right now. And all you have to do is take another plate and set it right on top of it. It doesn't come out perfectly, but that's what happens when you make it at home. You just take it and press down on top of the plate and press it, press it, press it, and press it, and press it, and press it. And you kind of have to still mold it yourself after that, but at least allows you to form it right on top of the plate so that way it comes out looking like this. So awesome. So once I do it, I normally separate it out with the paper towel so they can stay nice and formed and perfect on the thing. And I also made sure I cut up some nice peppers and onions so that you can saute that up in the pan so that can add to just basic steak. So all we have to do right now is take these tortillas in a nice pan here that we get that little nice and warmed up. And we're also get that pan warmed up to saute our onions and peppers in there. And we don't want to take the steak and cook it too much, so that's why it's good to put the peppers and the onions in the pan. So that way when we put the steak in there, all we're doing is just putting it in for a second just to meld together the flavors of the peppers and the onions. And we're going to put a little dollop of that chimichurri sauce on it, and it's going to be delicious. And I also made a little bit of bowls of plantains to kind of give you a little extra taste in that bringing that whole Spanish flavor into your dish. So, I have my leftovers here, and again, this is the leftover remix. And I'm waiting for my pan to get hot. And when you cook the tortillas, you want to make sure you keep a dry pan. You don't want to add any oil to it because you just want to get a nice brown golden look onto them once I throw them into the pan. They should come out looking a little bit nice and golden. And you just throw them up in there. Hold it up and bam. Throw it in there. And that's how that comes out. And then, like I said, you want to get your little saute pan ready for your peppers and onions. And this is why I put a little bit of oil in my pan. You always gotta make sounds when you put food in the pan. Especially when you're making a mix. So I'm gonna take my peppers and onions. I tell you, I wish I had one of those big kitchens. I have more counter space there. Take one of my nice little pans and wait for that to heat up. Got your little peppers and onions, you saute it up a little bit. And put that on there. And I'm going to actually put a little seasoning on it while my pan's getting a little warm. And I'm going to throw that up in here. Saute them peppers and onions. You got to sing to your food too. Saute them peppers and onions. And just throw a bit of salt on there real quick. And we just give that a little toss. While that's sauteing up really nice, I'm going to grab my little leftover container over here so I can get my steak out, because I want to cut it. I want to dice it up, slice it up a little bit so that once after that has been sauteed pretty nicely, I'll have a nice I have a nice steak to add to my dish. Look at that, it's so juicy. Still nice and tender from that amazing steakhouse. It's like when you go and spend like $42 on a steak meal and you can get 2 meals out of it, it's kind of almost like worth it. And so now you want to kind of move your little tortillas around and kind of make sure that it's not doing too crazy stuff in the pan. And if you're not that adventurous in using your own hand, you might want to get yourself a nice little spatula to flip it. If I can find one, here's one here. Get yourself a nice spatula and just kind of flip it over. You don't want to leave it in there too long. You just wanted to kind of give it the waking up the corn flavors inside of the tortillas there. I actually can put the other one in there too as well. So that by the time your onions and peppers are ready, so will your tortillas. Move that around. Look at that. I love the smell of onions and peppers. It just it makes it seem like everything, no matter what it's going to taste like, it's going to be delicious as long as you have these 2 things included with it. So I'm going to let that go just a little bit longer. I don't want it to get cooked down too much because I still want a little texture when I'm biting into it. So I think I got my first one. My first tortilla looks like it's perfect. And I also had a little bit of rice with my food yesterday. So I'm going to just kind of just take that and just put that in a little bowl and just warm it up a little bit so that I can have that and add that up on the side. We don't need this anymore. We're going to trade the styrofoam for a nice plate. So we're going to take that and just kind of put that in there just to warm it up a little bit. And make sure we take our other tortilla. We don't want it to brown too much. I said yes. I'm getting excited. Like I said, you can make a $42 meal turn into a 2-day meal. You're going to love it because it's all worth it when you can go and take something that you had and you thought, no, I'm not going to save it, and keep it. Turn that over there. Got that one nice and brown up on your plate here. I'm waiting for that one to finish up here. Yes, look how delicious that is. I think I'm going to go ahead and put my steak in there now. And again, I just want to toss it in there for like a second. Just so you can get the onions mixed in on there. You don't want to overcook it. I want to lose that nice little loveliness. So I'm going to actually just turn the heat off and just let the residual heat just bring it all together so you might have a nice, still tender steak from your leftover steakhouse meal from yesterday. Look how amazing that looks over there. Okay. So I'm just going to round up. Look at that. My mouth is salivating. Look how delicious that is. I mean, imagine, this is like almost like 2 servings right here that you just still have left in the pot. And now I'm just going to come over here and add some of this nice, beautiful chimichurri sauce that I made on here. It has a nice little kick to it, so it's going to be really, really good on top of here. Oh, yes, 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 yes. And if you want to add salsa or some other, like sour cream, that's your choice. But I kind of like to keep mine just a nice little simple peppers and onions, and that's it. So like I said, this chimichurri sauce has such a kick, you wouldn't need anything else. And since I have my rice too to go along with it, let's add some of that on our plate. Let's turn that down before that turns into fried rice, and that could be a whole nother dish. Okay, so we add a little bit of rice onto that. And I love the sound of that. Sizzling sound is amazing. Add a little rice onto here. Got my plantains that I fried up a little earlier. And look how amazing that looks. I mean, you have a full meal right there. Right there, that's delicious. Let me try it out and see what it's working with. Homemade tortillas with your steak, your peppers and onions, and your rice, and your homemade plantains. Ooh, delicious. This is so good. It not only want to make you smack your mom, it want to make you smack your entire family. Oh my goodness, it's so delicious. And again, this is a simple leftover remix. Take your meal you made from last night, put that together, add a couple of ingredients that you make at home, and you have yourself a whole nother meal for the next day. I'm Sha Hayes, and I hope you enjoyed the leftover remix. Check it